Well, Smiling Dogs Records is basically the region's only real record store. We specialize in just music, particularly vinyl. We do have CDs and other things, but vinyl is our mainstay. And it's a place where no matter who you are or what kind of music you listen to, there's something in here for you, no matter what. When I first started this, there was a real lack of anywhere to go for record collectors. Pretty much there was a rescue mission, Goodwill, garage sales, estate sales, that sort of thing. Got to the point where I had enough records in my basement where I was either going to end up on an episode of Hoarders or I had to open this store. I started this store with my own personal collection.
Smiling Dog Records, it's like a place that really, for me, had been missing in Billings for a decade or more.
I have always described Smiling Dog as basically just a traditional record store. Like, I imagine it how you would see a record store back in like the 70s or the 80s. That's why I mean it's like so traditional in that way. Obviously, I don't know what they were like back then, but this is just kind of how I would picture it.
I've pretty much been a lifelong collector of vinyl albums. I don't really call myself an audiophile because I'm not really into the, all the gear and, the high end of it, but I just enjoy vinyl albums, and I started collecting them by collecting my brother and sister's collections into my room.
Started working here, and I loved it. All I did every day was look through albums and cassettes and CDs, and I talked to people that were just as much into music as I am, if not more.
I love that this place exists for the art completely. Michael gives everybody a chance to just come be themselves.
Well, my intention when I first started this record store was to provide a real record store like there used to be. Back then there used to be music stores, and then the CDs came along, and shortly after that the vinyl resurgence started, because then it became pretty much a download world, to where you weren't even buying tangible CDs, you were just buying a download, and then people would drop their phone in a puddle and suddenly all their music is gone. And that simply doesn't happen with a record collection.
We grew up in an era where so many artists were album artists. Rather than putting out singles or hit singles, their album was really created as a listening experience.
I miss the days when people bought an album and listened to the whole thing from beginning to end.
To have a vinyl album that you can read the credits and you can hold.
Also, with digital music, they're compressing everything to get it into a digital form, and so you're losing the overtones that are in music. You're losing the lows, the highs, and it all gets compressed down into a digital form. So when you're listening to a digital product, you're not actually hearing it the way it was meant to be heard. It's not like the analog experience.
I'm always on the lookout, anytime I'm somewhere. And this is the kind of place where you can just spend an hour or two on an afternoon going through and exploring things that you've never really maybe even considered before.
I had a customer this morning when he walked in the door. I said, can I help you find anything? And he's like, I'll know it when I see it. Yeah, we're a kind of an eclectic store. We carry anything musical. We have memorabilia in here. We have musical instruments. Our main focus is, of course, vinyl, but we also have CDs and cassettes and 8-tracks and 45s and 78s. And I literally have categories for any type of music in here. There's world music up there and bluegrass behind me. It's no matter what you're into, there's a section for it in here. We had stereo equipment and speakers and everything so that we can get a beginner set up with a system and get them started.
I bought my entire sound system here, actually. So not only can you buy records, you can buy turntables, and if you were to come here and look around, there's different sorts of analog equipment.
If I can get anything, whether it's new or old, I can find almost anything, you name it.
Oh, I just think it's a community center. And you see parents, I see people come in who are my age and they see their kids play music. And I think that for the most part, most of those parents think it's a safe place.
We have a venue and a lot of the local bands come and play here, and it gives them a chance to get in front of audiences that they normally wouldn't have a chance to get in front of.
I've played all around town at pretty much every venue so far, and this spot has just been like a second home to me. It's been my favorite spot to play.
A lot of the venues around town, like you have to like jump through hoops with booking agents and there's contracts and blah blah blah, all this like music industry nonsense. But like, so it's pretty discouraging for kids to like get on legit shows. And this place has kind of a built-in crowd. Like I've been to a bunch of shows here and it's always pretty full. And like it's a cool place for young guys that are like in high school or whatever to come like cut their teeth a little bit.
Every other venue that you play at is like a bar, and there's so many, there's just different rules and restrictions that go into being there and playing there, and it's like you're gonna do these things and kind of go by the house rules. But here it's a lot freer. There's no alcohol served, so you don't got to be a certain age to get into any show. There's always shows that are always all ages.
It's cool because I'll have parents and grandparents here at the back of the room by me watching as their kids are playing on the stage and their siblings are moshing in the pit, and then their little siblings will be out here coloring.
They just provide a room. They provide a spot. Like they have like a bunch of music for sale. That's part of it. And then like they just let anybody come play. Like there's acoustic acts playing tonight. There's like pop acts playing. We're a hardcore band. Like it puts a bunch of bands together. Like it's just a cool like mixing pot, as cliche as that might be to say.
We support our local artists. We sell all of the local artists' music down here.
I just love music, and I'm so happy this place exists, you know?
It's just nice to go somewhere where someone who not only knows the music, but who's a musician and can understand just the history of it.
And he doesn't care about genre for a specific show, whatever. Like if you're cool, you're cool.